What's up, everybody? Coach Ceelo here, and welcome to the No Bullshit Six Figure Sales Podcast. And today we're going to have a podcast session just on prospecting. All right. So if you're an insurance agent, if you're a network marketer, whatever industry you're in, if it's in a prospecting industry, then listen up. If you're not in a prospecting industry, you should listen up anyway, because guess what? There are months when things aren't what you expected them to be. And there's going to be times when you didn't get as many sales as you wanted. And if you're in a business where you're already given the leads, where everything already comes to you, man, everything you get on top of that is gravy. Or you could even have it in your pocket. Like if you know you're coming up on a slow month, or you are already in a slow month, you add a little prospecting to what you do, boom, and now you're back in business, right? So just because you're not in a business that prospects doesn't mean that you're not going to get value from this. But for my prospectors, hey, this is for you, right? So everybody knows I come from network marketing industry. I had a lot of experience in network marketing, and I loved doing network marketing. Not quite my space anymore, my flavor anymore, but still, I was involved with it for quite some time, and there was a lot of great things that I learned from it. And I learned how to prospect, and I did a lot of training in prospect, both training people to prospect and learning also from some of the greatest on how to do it. So let's talk about prospecting. What are the three, or excuse me, four most common, most important words that you need when you're prospecting? Who do you know? Everybody that you're talking to, who do you know? And if you want to make it more specific, who do you know needs blah, blah, blah? Who do you know like you needs this? Who do you know? Every time you're talking to somebody, you're following it up with who do you know? Because that who do you know is going to lead to many, many, many more sales, right? Now, depends if you're a cold market prospector or a warm market prospector. If you're in prospecting, you already know what that is. For those of you not, just cold market and warm market just means how close in proximity you are familiar with the person. If the person is friends and family, or somebody that you know of because you either transact in their business, each other, or whatever, then that's considered warm market. Cold market is people that you've never spoken to in your whole entire life. And for the most part, very few people enjoy cold market. All right. There's a lot of rejection. And if you do it right, though, if you do it right, the way to prospect correctly is to take cold market, turn it into warm market, and then prospect, right? But if you're in network marketing, for example, and you're going through numbers, a lot of the times you don't have the ability to do that. You could do that through social media. I know a lot of people that will take cold market and turn it into warm market by just adding them on social media. So they'll meet people off in the street. They'll have a cool conversation. They'll figure, hey, this is somebody that I might want to work with in the future. We exchange social media. Now they're within my sphere of influence. And then, of course, you have to doctor your social media. And actually, doctoring is not the right word, but you have to have your social media represent the lifestyle and kind of the idea of who you are, so that they're interested enough to ask you one day, so what do you do? And then you can kind of take it from there, right? So if you're in network marketing, I'm sure you already know this, but you don't want to give away too much of what you do. You just want to have glimpses of your lifestyle, real lifestyle. People, please don't do these fake videos coming out of a Lambo. If you live in a normal house and you make normal amount, there's nothing glamorous about lying. There's glamour in a great story on how your life has changed, but your life, you don't have to go from zero to millionaire to have an attractive lifestyle. If you're able to afford an extra vacation every year, if you're able to upgrade your car, if you're able to put new furniture in your house, put brand new clothes on your family's back, that's attractive enough. You don't have to lie. If you lie and eventually people will find out, you're a fraud. There's no glamour in that. There's no honor in that, right? So when you're prospecting, if you're cold prospecting, just try to get them on your social media. Make a friend. That's all you got to do. Start conversation like you would with, think of it like flirting. All you're doing is having some light conversation and creating an interest in yourself. That's it. You're not trying to hit them up. The days of hitting somebody up in the street and saying, "Hey, are you interested in making extra money? Do you look at opportunities of making money? Are you open to making extra money?" That smells of scam anytime that somebody says that. Now, if somebody tells me that because I was in the industry for long, I'm just going to chuckle and be like, "What network marketing company are you doing? Oh my God, they're teaching you that." But most people, they're going to get very closed when they hear something like that. So don't do that. Just meet people on the regular. As you're going through life, meet people, be friendly, dress well, always dress well. If you're in the prospecting business, you never know when you're going to come across your next customer or your next independent um, broker or independent distributor. You never know when you're going to meet that next person. And if you're in pajamas and fluffy sandals, you're not giving off the right image. So always be presentable, always look good, always be on your A game, especially if you're trying to do this organically. It just means as you're going through life, you go to the dry cleaner, you talk to the person in line, you're at CVS, you talk to the person in line, you say hi to the business owner. And by the way, if you're in the prospecting business, whatever business it is, everybody that you do business with should be doing business with you. Whatever it is that you're offering, if that person has a need for that service or product, they should be doing business with you because you're doing business with them. And if they're so close minded that they're not going to do that, then eventually go do business with somebody else. When I was in network marketing, if I had something that you needed and I gave money to your business, I expected you at minimum to at least listen to what I had to talk about. And if you were buying something that I sold from somebody else, then I wouldn't do business with you anymore. I'd go elsewhere because I'm looking out for my family. I'm looking out for feeding my family. If I've got something that's good for you that you're already paying for and that I can get for you at either the same or less than what you were getting, I, of course, will not do business with you if you don't do business with me, or at least if you didn't consider it. So anyway, that's more of the network marketing side and the kind of the cold market approach to things. But as I got better, I started going after professionals because I figured that, I wanted professionals in my team. I wanted A players in my team. And so I started prospecting professionals. And how would I prospect professionals? Well, guess what? I would prospect people that prospect for a living because they already understood the game. I would prospect insurance agents. I would prospect real estate agents. I would prospect accountants. I would prospect people that were already in the game. They already understood how this works. And I would join organizations where they would have networking meetings for these things. Number one thing when you go to a networking meeting, don't throw up over everybody trying to tell them what you do and what your product is. Don't do that. That is like super lame. Everybody knows that's a green newbie. The way you do a networking meeting is you meet someone, talk to them, and let them talk first or ask them, who is your ideal avatar? What is your ideal client? I know a lot of people. I'm a connector. I know tons of people, right? What kind of person are you looking for so that if I get in front of them, I will send them your way? Now they like you. You're going to bring them business. You're going to bring them money. Not only that, though, they see that rather than trying to push something down their throat, you were offering to help them. Now, in return, they're going to ask you, well, what do you do? And then you're going to tell them whatever, you know, short elevator pitch you got about what you're doing. If it's insurance, if it's something straightforward like insurance or real estate, hey, right then and there you can give them your elevator pitch. If it's network marketing, well, you've got to be a little mysterious. Be the trailer, not the movie, right? Because you want the movie to be the business opportunity meeting or the Zoom meeting. I guess things have changed now. When I did network marketing, it was all face to face, right? Now there's a lot of Zoom meetings, so that's a part of it that I'm not sure how they do right now. I think all of the business opportunity meetings have gone away, and now they're all done through Zoom. And the only thing that happens live, I think, are like the regional meetings, like the big meetings where they're getting everybody together, right? And the national conventions, that kind of stuff. So yeah, networking is really important. That's going to be a great way to do it. Another way to prospect is to prospect where there will already be a big group of prospectors there. So, for example, if I want to prospect real estate agents, I'm going to make sure that if there's a real estate agent convention somewhere, I'm going to go and I'm going to make friends with everybody there. And I'm going to add them all to my Facebook and my Instagram. And later, the relationships will develop. So it's not immediate. But do you understand the pool I just created? These are quality people that I'm going to be, prospecting. So if you're in some kind of an industry where it's people trying to look for money, well then I would go to not presentations, but like when people go to hotels and they're doing these meetings on real estate and now you got to have your head right. All right, if you're weak, you're going to get sold on one of these things. And by the way, I am not saying that they're scams and they're not scams and they are and they aren't. I'm just saying we're all in the op business, right? We're all in opportunity seeking and making money. And so you've got to be very solid in what your opportunity is because you can't divide yourself in a million things at this stage in your life. Once you're making a lot of money, yeah, diversify. But right now, at this stage, if you're trying to create something, you can't split yourself up and do 5 million things. You're going to focus on what that will keep the main thing, the main thing. And so if you're keeping the main thing, you know that the purpose of going to that real estate meeting really wasn't to hear about the real estate. It was to forge bonds with everybody else that was there. Why? Because the reason why they're at that real estate meeting was because they want to make money. And so now you have an alternative way of making money. And guess what? They were open-minded enough to go to that meeting. They may be open-minded enough to listen to what you've got to say. This is also important. If you prospect these kind of people, you got to get somebody higher up in the ranks to meet up with them later so that they have somebody that can be respected because they may consider you a peer because in their mind, hey, you were at that meeting looking for ways to make money just like me. And you don't want to tell them that you were there just to prospect people. That would be silly, right? So keep that in mind. Prospect people in places where they're already going to be. Now, there is the hard cold market approach. Hard cold market is a grind, guys. It is a grind. And that was like the old network marketing style where every single person that comes in within 3 feet from you, you were either giving them your business card or you were talking to them. Um, but it'll work if you hold the right frame. It'll work if you're dressed to the hilt, if you look like a business person, if you got that solid confidence, and when you're talking to them, you're not being needy, asking them stuff. You're just having like a funny back and forth banter. And if you do that enough, what you're doing is you're trying to create enough mystery for them to ask you, so what do you do? What do you do for a living? Oh man, that's so funny. You got an Instagram, you got a Facebook? and you do something like that. If you can do that, you can master cold market without it being like sleazy, kind of over the top the way it was before, because that stuff does not work anymore. Social media is the way to go in terms of taking that cold market prospect and then warming them up. So yeah, guys, this is kind of my focus that I wanted to have with you guys on prospecting. Um, Drop me some comments and some questions if you want here. But guys, my name is Coach Ceelo. I have helped hundreds of salespeople reach, attain, break, and maintain six figures. You keep watching me, you'll be the next.